It's a public holiday, and I guess you're making the best of it. At least with a cup of tea, a plate of rice and chicken on the table. Anyway, we essential workers are on duty because your TV screen can't go blank. Yes, keeping your TV screen busy spices up the holiday as well. Anyway, that's on a lighter note. Let's reflect on the mood of the season. Friday was Good Friday, the day Jesus Christ was crucified at the cross of Calvary. Yesterday was Easter Sunday. He resurrected and triumphantly made his way to Jerusalem. Today, Monday, is also significant in the entire episode because there was a meeting at Galilee, after the resurrection. But what was the essence of this meeting? And finding answers to this big question forms the basis of Panorama today. A clergy is on the wings to give us answers to that meeting. I'm Ruth Aguele. Thank you very much for joining us. The death and resurrection of Jesus Christ are symbolic events in Christendom. Another day of great spiritual significance for Christian faithful is Easter Monday, a day Jesus met with his disciples at Galilee. Let's join Elizabeth Omori for details of the meeting after the resurrection.
Why do you seek the living among the dead? He is not here, but is risen.
The ministry of Jesus continued after his resurrection, particularly in Galilee, where he had instructed the disciples to meet him long before the crucifixion, death, and resurrection. Going by biblical accounts, Mary Magdalene and Mary, the mother of Jesus, were at the tomb where Jesus was buried and found it empty, and instructed by an angel to tell his disciples to meet Jesus in Galilee.
Peace be with you.
This, theologians and clergymen say, is the fulfillment of the scriptures.
Therefore means back that he's taking them back to the point of their ministry and his own ministry as well. And that meeting point there in Galilee, Jesus is reminding them of the purpose of their mission and his mission on earth, which he entrusted to the disciples as well.
The message of the resurrection simply comes to tell every one of us, no matter how bad it is, there is still a possibility in God for us to bounce back.
Galilee featured predominantly in the sojourn of Jesus Christ. He was born in Nazareth, a town in Galilee, called his disciples in Galilee, walked on the Sea of Galilee, and performed the first miracle of turning water into wine in Cana of Galilee. In fact, many of his miracles, healing, and ministrations linked to Galilee. These are not without lessons that include divine encounter, renewal, and new beginning.
So as we look focused on the resurrection, and we look at humanity, the death, burial, and resurrection of Jesus Christ reminds every family, every individual, that no matter how far down you've gone, no matter how bad it's become, you can still rise again.
As the faithful celebrate Easter Monday, the expectation is for them to be Christ-like, upholding righteousness.
The Lord bless you and keep you. Go, therefore, and teach all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Ghost, teaching
In
them to
Abuja,
observe all things
Elizabeth
whatsoever I have
Omori,
commanded you.
NTA News.
All right, so let's expand the discourse, talking about the significance of today being Easter Monday. We have in the studio Reverend Tom Takpature. I beg your pardon, Reverend. Thank you very much for joining us on the news, and happy Easter Monday to you.
Thank you very much for having me, Ruth, and happy Easter to you Nigerians.
Thank you very much. He's the senior pastor at Fourth Baptist Church here in Abuja. So let's look at the significance of this remarkable day, talking about Easter Monday. And of course, Galilee, the meeting at Galilee holds great significance, especially when we look at the life and times of Jesus Christ, the miracles he performed, you know, the whole essence of going back to Galilee at the end of it. So you tell us.
Now, you know that for the disciples, the past 3-4 days had been seasons of gloom, of pain, of shame, wherein they had given up. And for them, all about this man of Galilee was over. But then came the resurrection. The resurrection was for them not only the resurrection of Christ, but also the resurrection of hope, of life, of joy. And so the return to the base where the ministry started. Of course, most of the disciples were called from Galilee. And the return to base was a return of joy, a return of celebration. For them that thought that it was over, they were revitalized to say, wow, something is real and it's happening. Indeed, in all of history, none had died and resurrected back to life the way this Jesus did. And so for them, this was a restoration, and this was transforming for them as well.
Indeed, and the meeting there at Galilee, you know, opens a new chapter talking about for Christians all over the world in fulfillment of the scriptures. Looking at our daily lives today, what does it say to us beyond this whole celebration?
For us, it's a source of courage. No matter how dark life may have been, darkness does not have the final say.
Yeah.
No matter how sad, no matter how painful, there is light, there is joy, there is resurrection, and there is hope. And this same Jesus who died and was buried and rose again can bring resurrection, can bring life, can bring joy into our situations. And for us as a nation, this is also a message of hope. No matter how hard things may be, no matter how dark things may be, darkness does not have the final say. The resurrected Lord has said, I am the way, the truth, and the life. Is the one that has the answer, and he is the one that has the final answer to all our situations.
Taking a look at the exemplary life of Jesus Christ, Christians today are expected to follow lead, you know, in terms of the way we conduct ourselves. Our lifestyle must reflect Jesus Christ, because Easter celebration is very significant if we want to look at salvation for Christians all over the world. What do you say about this?
For us, we need to go out there and preach the message of Easter. First and foremost, with our lifestyles, with our characters, to show that we have indeed encountered him. And this was what happened to the early disciples, that they were called Christians, people who had encountered Christ. In short, at a point, they said, they observed that these people, they didn't have education, but there was a difference in the way they lived their lives. And so that difference needs to reflect in the way we live our lives as well. And then also to preach and tell people the truth about the gospel, about this life-giving Jesus, about this life-transforming Jesus, and also to reach out to people who are in despair, people who are in hopelessness, to encourage them, to lift up their heads to the light that was brought by this Jesus Christ who resurrected from the dead.
And Reverend, beyond the death and resurrection of Jesus Christ, let's expand it to nation building. I noticed, you know, this weekend, many people didn't really go out to do the whole merrymaking as Easter celebration ought to be like. I'm sure you observed that too.
Yes,
but it's not about the celebration. It's about, you know, preaching the gospel, like you said, but more importantly, expressing that action of humility and peace. How do we relate with our brothers and sisters?
For us as Nigeria, the past few years, we've really experienced darkness. We've experienced all kinds of challenges from the insurgents and, of course, of recent, some of the challenges we've had not only with election, with fuel, with the cashlessness, and it's been quite depressing for a lot of people. And the message of Easter is very relevant here, that there is hope, there is light at the other end of the tunnel. And so we need to go out there to encourage people to have hope, to encourage people not to give up, and to encourage people that the light will shine again. And Nigeria is a country that has so much potentials, and we need to look up to God, we need to trust God. But then also, we need to also reach out to one another. You have 2 cups of water, you can give a cup to someone who is thirsty, someone who is in need. And we also need to go out with this message of the resurrection. Nigeria needs to be resurrected out of the darkness that we are currently going through, and we are in basically most of the facets of our national life. We need to put our hearts together, our hands together, work together to build a great nation. Nigeria has so much potentials, but these raw materials are useless if we don't harness these potentials towards the building of our nation and towards the building of our land. I really plead with us as Nigerians, we should not allow this country to go down the drains. There's so much that God has invested, that God has blessed us with, human resources, material resources. Please, Nigerians, let's work together and build a great nation.
Thank you very much, Reverend. You've just hit the nail on the head. Of course, having that spirit of love, humility and peace, most especially, is very important if we must continue to build the nation of our dream. Thank you, Reverend Tom Takpature. Thank you for your time with us on the news.
Thank you, Ruth, for
having me. And enjoy the holiday.
Thank you. You too.
I will. Why working anyway?
Yeah. Happy Easter to you, Nigerians.
All right. Okay, still on the Easter mood, as followers of Jesus Christ marks his death and resurrection, there is the renewed call for all people to imbibe the spirit of sacrifice and love. This is coming from Vice President Professor Yemi Oshibajo as he joins other worshippers at the Aso Villa Chapel in celebrating the resurrection of Jesus Christ. State House correspondent Jide Onifade reports.
It's a day of resurrection. A day followers of Jesus Christ believe gives hope to all mankind of greater joy here and even beyond.
It was on a day like this that our salvation was sealed.
Vice President Yemi Oshibajo and wife Dolapo among worshippers celebrating the day. Secretary to the government of the Federation, Post Mustafa and wife, are not left behind in the celebration. Biblical record revealed that the trials of Christ while on earth was a painful experience for his followers. However, his rising from the grave on the 3rd day is a thing worthy of celebration.
It's a message of the amazing love of Jesus Christ, amazing love of God, that he gave up his son so that you and I will not have to pay again for our sin. So it's an amazing day, a fantastic day, and I wish you all happy Easter.
We have a duty as believers, as Christians, to make sure that everyone hears about the gospel, the redemption gospel of our Lord Jesus Christ. So these are 2 strong messages that I will leave with Nigerians today. The need for unity, the need for brotherliness, the need for us to sacrifice for each other. That's the only way we can grow and build a sustainable country.
From the Aso Villa Chapel, Jide Onifade, NTA News.
All right, moving away from Easter, let's not also forget that this is a month of Ramadan, and Muslims have been reminded of the essence of life before they return to God, which was one of the topics of discussion at the 4th annual Ramadan lecture organized by the Forum for Islamic Guidance. Let's hear from Salwal Khalil Ibrahim.
Islam promulgated that every life shall taste death, and when it will come, nobody knows except the Creator. And so, Muslims were advised to turn to Allah before they return to Him.
It underscores the need to live every day, hour, minute, and indeed every second of our lives as though it is the last and only opportunity that we have.
In the spirit of the holy month of Ramadan and beyond, citizens were also charged to be good servants to God, be patriotic, embrace peace, and preach brotherhood.
When you are conscious enough with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it will lead you to do good to others, to be just leader, to be good husband, to be good parent, as well as good citizen.
You must not live in this world as if there is no going to be tomorrow. This is just a trial for you to know that, I have been given the opportunity to serve the people and serve humanity.
Salwa Khalil, NTA News.
All right, let's take a break. We're back. Please stay tuned.
The counsel of our fathers.
I will urge and advise our younger generation to use talent and brain to sort out problems, not arms.
Nigerian youths, let's build our nation.
My advice to these young people is please do not take us back to those harrowing days. You probably do not know what it is.
I believe we have fought one civil war too many in this country. So those who experience it will run away from it.
Nigerian youths, let's build our nation together.
Welcome back. The All Progressives Congress National Integrity Movement has continued to re-echo the need to play politics of ideology and development as the party transit beyond 2023. This was emphasized during the movement interaction with some members of the National Assembly ahead of the inauguration of the 10th House of Representatives since the return of democracy in 1999.
It's part of the things that we agreed. Most of the people that really do well, we identify with them, we appreciate them, we see how we can work in synergy and support them so that they can be able to succeed, so that our party will not fail. And in case of you find yourself in the corridor of National Assembly election, you should always put our party first. Because definitely, if you go, maybe there will be a small or bigger competition at the National Assembly.
People that believe in the project before, that is a strategic project, we are part of the project, we believe in it, we believe in APC, and then that is why we invested heavily to see that APC come out very, very strong in 2023 general election.
Appealing to all of you, from today after this meeting, take it as all of you are ambassadors on this project, either at the party level, at your constituency level, in your neighborhood, in relationships, in whatever capacity you are.
The members appreciate the integrity movement for showing concern and taking deliberate steps in consolidating Nigeria's democracy through positive engagement with elective office holders. President of the Senate, Ahmed Lawan, has donated a fully furnished office to the Federal Road Safety Corps in RS 12.33 Unit Command of Gashua Local Government Area of Yobe State. Yobe State Sector Commander David Danturu says the office, which is strategic to the operations of the FRSC, will assist in curbing auto crash through timely response to emergency situations. Representative of the Senate, President Abdullahi Mele, says the intervention was born of the desire to make the FRSC job easier and control traffic within the vicinity, thereby reducing the rate of auto crash. Chairman Gashua Local Government Area and representative of the paramount ruler both appreciated the gesture and promised to support the Corps for efficient use of the structure for the sake of humanity. The 2023 farming season has received a boost as the federal government approved 75% subsidy on all farm inputs to ensure bumper harvest. Minister of Agriculture and Rural Development Mohammed Mahmoud Abubakar stated this after inaugurating projects at the Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria. Tina Turu will tell us more.
The Minister of Agriculture and Rural Development Mohammed Mahmoud Abubakar was on oversight visit at the Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria. He disclosed federal government's approval of subsidy on all farm inputs for this year's farming season.
We also have items that will give us gratis, seeds, fertilizer, chemical fertilizers, insecticide, pesticide, and all of that we give to especially smallholder farmers, because smallholder farmers produce about 70% of the food that is being produced in this country.
Projects inaugurated by the Minister for Agriculture and Rural Development include upgraded lecture halls, theatres, amongst other facilities at the Faculty of Veterinary Medicine. At the National Agricultural Extension and Research Liaison Services, the focal point was the Skills Acquisition and Entrepreneurship Development Center, comprising animal husbandry, rice mills, feeds production, as well as apiculture. The minister was also at the Institute for Agricultural Research Multi-Crop Seed Production Plant, the Dairy Complex and Biotechnology Laboratory at the National Animal Production and Research Institute was not left out. Center for Energy Research and Training, home to Nigeria's first nuclear reactor, played host to the minister, who described all projects inaugurated as a boost to Nigeria's drive for food security and sufficiency.
A lot more that can be done with nuclear, even in terms of agri. For example, you can map the type of soil in the whole country using this particular facility. What that will do is it will tell you where to plant the different crops that you want to cultivate in the country.
The minister urged farmers to return to their farms as measures have been put in place to ensure their safety. In Zaria, Tina Turu, NTA News.
All right, let's bring you sports update.
Argentina have replaced Indonesia as the host of the 2023 FIFA Under-20 World Cup. The South American country submitted a formal bid to stay the tournament after FIFA stripped Indonesia of its hosting right, thereby paving the way for Argentina to make the formal bid, which was later accepted. The tournament starts on May 20. Nigeria's Flying Eagles, two-time finalists at the World Cup, are among the 24 teams scheduled to participate in the competition in Argentina. The Nigerian side finished third in the just concluded CAF Under-20 Africa Cup of Nations in Egypt, and the team is expected to make a strong show at the 2023 World Cup. Meanwhile, Anthony Joshua has announced that he will not return to the ring until December, following this month's win over Jamie Franklin. The former unified heavyweight champion Joshua, who has fought 25 times with 22 knockouts, has been linked with a fight against Dillian White and Tyson Fury. In 2021, Joshua lost unified WBA, WBO, and IBF heavyweight titles to Alexander Usyk and could not reclaim them when he lost his rematch in 2022 also to the Ukrainian. And finally, Spain's Joe Ram kept his nerve to win a first Masters, swinging an exciting final day in his favor from American Bruce Koepka. The 28-year-old caddied a 3 under 69 to finish on 12 under and win by 4 shots, as Koepka, who led by 5 going into the final round, signed for 75. Defending champion Scottie Scheffler finished in a group on 4 under, along with England's US Open champion Matt Fitzpatrick, who was the highest finisher from Great Britain. Ram became the 4th Spanish player to win the Masters, and his victory apparently the 66th birthday of legendary 2-time champion Sheffield Ballators, who won in 1980 and 1983. With sport updates, Clement Olorutoba, NT News.
That's Panorama. Thank you very much for your company. But don't forget, it's 23 days to go, counting down to the National Population and Housing Census. Make sure you're not left out. Be counted. And as you enjoy the holiday, be sure NTA is here to serve you. I'm Ruth Aguele. Bye.